So Matthew,
Yeah.
you're my friend. I met
Good.
you. I met you. Yes.
Thanks for that.
But no, you're my friend, and now we're working together. We're
Yes.
developing this thing. I met you. I think it was in 2017 when you worked at the Apple Store
Yep.
at the Genius Bar.
Genius Bar.
Because you're a
That
genius.
was the beginning of my genius journey. So yes.
And I am kind of like the opposite of genius, at least when it comes to technology. And I came with my broken laptop to the store because I was actually working on a reading a few blocks away from there, and my computer kind of like broke on me.
Right.
And I went to the store and asked for some technical advice, and there you were, working for Apple, and
Across a crowded room.
Across a
our
crowded
eyes
room.
met, and I looked at the computer.
it's kind of how that was.
Well, here's the so the secret they don't tell you about the Genius Bar is the people that actually talk to you aren't really going to fix your computer. So I looked, I said, oh no, looks like it's not working. And I took it into the back to the people who really knew what they were doing. And then we sat and talked. And that was mostly my job, was just to talk to people while someone smarter than me fixed their computer.
Oh, so you got the job because you were like kind and good looking and could give good service.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was the interview.
You know
Those
what?
were the 3 questions.
Listen, I can see like why. You're like a real sweetheart, and you actually care about people, which is one of the qualities that I love about you the most. You have this amazing patience and just like balance of emotions. I mean, I've never seen you going crazy on anyone, but hey, it just means
Time will
I
tell.
haven't seen you.
Just wait. Just kidding.
But anyway, so we met at the Apple Store, and while we were waiting for my computer to come back from the Genius Bar, where the actual genius people are checking my
Real
computer,
geniuses in the back.
you asked me what I'm doing, and I told you that I am starting to develop some musical, and then you told me that you're a playwright, and I saved your number because I thought, okay, what a sweet man who is a playwright, and I am relatively new in New York, and I would need to know playwrights, so I just kept your number there, and then I think it was either a few days later or a few weeks later, I had another reading, and we were missing last minute someone that would read a part of a Jewish man, a Jewish guy, and your beard was just like Jewish enough.
Yeah, I used to, my beard was Jewish enough. I used to live in Crown Heights, and they would try and get you to I don't know what it is. You like go into a bus and say a prayer or something, but they're always asking like, "Are you Jewish?" And they would always ask me.
Yes.
Never anyone I was walking with, but so anyway, I guess I passed for Jewish.
You passed for
pretty well.
Jewish. You are at a typecast,
Right.
and you really did great. And it was really sweet. And so I knew you kind of like light, very lightly, not like any like really. There was not a lot of depth, I would say. But then some years later. Maybe 2 years later, one of my best friends and our now collaborator, Amir Schoenfeld, who was a very talented composer and lyricist and, a musician. And he called me one morning, I remember it was a Sunday morning, and he said, I have an idea about for a musical about a robot that is with the memories. We'll talk about it more, but I'm not a playwright. Like, I don't know even how to begin to find one. And Amir lives in London and was just starting to tap into musical theater, writing. And I had like this, oh my God, I remember that guy from the Apple Store, and I saved his number.
The non-Jewish, non-genius.
Non-Jewish,
who was pretending to be both.
But I just knew,
Yeah.
and for me, this is how much I knew about Apple. I was like, okay, if he worked for Apple, and Amir, by the way, Amir was trying to work for Apple one day, and I remembered he wasn't accepted. And he told me, listen,
no.
he wasn't. Yeah, this was many, many years ago. But he told me that, like, listen, to work for Apple, you gotta have some brains. So I had that in my mind for so many years. And when he said he's looking for someone that would know about technology good enough to write about it in a musical, I was like, wait a second, I think I have the person. He worked at the Apple Store. He must be a genius, and he's a playwright. I've never read any of his work, but his texting is so fun. I'm sure he's a good writer. And then I put you and Amir together in touch, and it's been really nothing but magic. And for me, it's a life-changing experience to have you both, write together. And I can't wait to see where it's going to take us.
Yeah, it's so funny to hear those parts of it, because you never really know what's gonna play out. I always had this. So when I was new in the city, I always had like a printed copy of my newest script, whatever I was like, in my bag at all times, just in case I like ran into someone like important,
Like
and
the
I
like
wanted to.
papers and everything. Full
Yeah,
thing.
when I was in college, this like really great playwright who I admired a lot, he came and he did this master class, and he said you can always tell the difference between a real writer and someone who is pretending, by just asking them to read something. They say like, "Oh, I'm a writer," and if you say, "I'd love to read something someday," and they hand you something, they're a real writer. But if they sort of capitulate and say like, "Oh yeah, I'll send you something. I need some time to like finish it or do some rewrites or whatever," they're not real. And so I just always made it a habit to have like a physical script. And then I got an iPhone and I could just have the file on my iPhone, so I stopped carrying it. But anyway, I always thought like that was the thing. Like I have to be prepared with like work samples and be ready for this and be ready to network in these ways. And you just never know when like sending funny texts and working at the Apple store are going to be the thing that introduces you to new collaborators and new opportunities. So yeah, just staying prepared and staying ready and showing up in as yourself in any situation. It's funny to hear that. I didn't even know this part of the story that Amir was sold on me because I worked for Apple. That's so funny.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. That's what it was. Some years ago, he was trying to work for Apple back at home,
Well,
and he was like, "Oh, I didn't get it. It's really hard to get accepted. And Amir is a genius.
yeah.
You know,
Amir knows more about Apple products than I do, for sure. Yeah.
But anyway, a good teacher, and it sounds like he gave you good advice, but little did you know that you will get involved in this project just through meeting the most untechnological person on a store and be like, yeah, texting with you is enough to show me that you got what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm a good judge of character.
Yes, you are. Yeah. You have a radar.
I do.
You have like a talent radar for people.
Yeah, I want
I
to
say
believe so.
I'm total in my unbiased opinion, because you think I'm talented, but
Yeah.
I think you do have that like as a gift, is you are able to sort of zero in on what makes a person special and like kind of figure that out and kind of figure out how they fit into the puzzle that you're putting together. And that seems like what a producer does. So
Yeah. Yes. I own that quality that you describe. And it took me time to understand that this quality could have an expression in a professional world. And then, for me, after having like a big heartbreak as an entertainer, and when things didn't work quite well for me or to my expectations as an entertainer and a singer, I had a complete meltdown, and for I think it was closer to a year, I did not know who I am anymore, because all my life I knew myself as an entertainer, and suddenly I'm not doing this. So who am I? And then actually something very similar to what you just said now, when I already knew Steven from the various opportunities that I bumped into him on the streets, it's a story for another time. He was telling me when I explained him like what I've been doing and trying to put people together, he was like, well, there is what to do with this skill of putting people together and leading them towards a common goal. And that's what encouraged me to start producing, which I still don't feel like I quite, I'm entitled for it. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We're faking it till we're making it. At least for me as a producer. You're not faking it as a writer. You're making it as a writer.
It's hard to fake it as a writer because you do have to, have something that someone can read. But a lot of people do fake it as a writer.
So,
a lot of people are running around this city saying they're writers. And I don't mean to be like a gatekeeper. Like you can say you are whatever you want to be, and there's no like sort of qualifications. But like, if you're not writing, you're not a writer. If you're not, I I also say this to my students, like the difference between a writer and someone who's written something is the willingness to rewrite and work on it. And so I feel like if you're not really engaged in the process of writing, you're not really a writer. But like everyone knows what writing is. Not everyone knows what producing is. So it is like one of those things that kind of takes the shape of whoever's doing it. But yeah, we're all not really faking it. We're all just trying. We're learning as we're doing. We're not faking it till we make it. We're there. I don't know. I feel like there's no such thing as making it, and everyone's just trying to do the thing that they do, and get better at it. And it's unfortunate that we all feel like we need permission from the outside to like say that we do something.
Right.
I mean, it's why people are going into so much debt to like get degrees, and why there's so much imposter syndrome that holds people back is we feel like someone else has to tell us that we are a thing, or that we can presume to call ourselves the thing that we want to be doing. But if you're working as a producer, you're a producer. If I'm writing, I'm a writer. And then it's just about trying to get better and do better and find opportunities to do the thing you want to do.